Welcome back. Hey guys, it's Rishi once again, and today we're back with forming and solving equations. So for those that have worked on forming equations and solving them, you must be aware that usually when we are asked to form an equation, it is based on some knowledge of area, perimeter, or angles. So within this topic here, you will have to make sure that you have a good understanding of these topic areas in order to attempt these questions. So it's a good idea to revise them together. So let's go ahead and dive through a series of questions where we'll be going through forming and solving equations. And just like the previous videos, don't forget to pause the video, attempt the question before pressing play, where I will then go through the solutions. Without further ado, let's get started. Question number 1. The lengths in centimeter of the sides of a triangle are 3x minus 5, 2x minus 1, and x plus 1. So we have to write an expression in terms of x for the perimeter of the triangle. So when we are told to write an expression is a series of numbers without an equal sign. That then becomes an equation when we have an equal sign. So an expression will be just a series of numbers or even variables. So let's go ahead and write this out. So now we've written it out, we need to simplify this. And so I'm going to go ahead and collect together all of the variables, which is 3x, 2x, and x. So we know that 3x plus 2x gives me 5x, and 5x plus x gives me 6x. And then I'm going to go ahead and collect the numbers. So we have minus 5, plus minus 1, plus 1. So we have minus 5 minus 1, which gives me minus 6, and then minus 6 plus 1 gives me minus 5. So all in all, our answer is 6x minus 5. Okay, and part 2. The perimeter of the triangle is 31 centimeters. So let's work out the value of x. So now this is where we use an equation to then work out the value. So let's go for 6x minus 5 equals 31. I then need to make x the subject. So again, we're going to add 5 on both sides here. So now we're left with 6x equals 36. And then because 6x is equivalent to 6 multiplied by x, giving us 36, we know we are going to divide both sides by 6, and that gives us x equaling 6. So now we know that the value of x is 6. So let's take this one step further and see if we get 31. So we'll have 6 multiplied by our x value, which is 6, minus 5 equals 31. So we know 6 times 6 is 36. And if we subtract 5 from there, it does indeed give us 31. And that's your 2 marks in the bag and 4 marks in total. Wonderful. Okay, let's move over to question number 2. So now a rectangle has a length of 2x plus 3 and a width of x plus 5. And we need to find an expression for the perimeter. Well, if we start with the properties of a rectangle, we now know that the opposite sides are the same. So we're going to have 2, bracket open, 2x plus 3, as the two opposite sides are the same. And we'll do the same for x plus 5. So we'll have plus 2 and then x plus 5. And we can now expand and simplify our answer. So let's start with 2 times 2x gives us 4x, and 2 times 3 gives us 6. We then have 2 times x, which is 2x, and 2 times 5, which is 10. And we can then put together our variables and our numbers. So we know that 4x and 2x gives us 6x, and 6 plus 10 equals 16. And there we are. Our answer is 6x plus 16. And that's the expression for the perimeter of the rectangle. But now, given the rectangle having a perimeter of 43 centimeters, we now need to find the value of x. So we know the expression is 6x plus 16, and we know this equals to 43. Let's now go ahead and make x the subject. so we can get the value of x. So now it's a plus 16, so we'll subtract 16 on both sides. So we're left with 6x equals 27. And then we'll go ahead and we'll have x equals 27 divided by 6, because we divide 6 on both sides. But now, as we can see that 6 is not divisible by 27 entirely without leaving a remainder, let's go ahead and simplify this and divide both sides by 3. And by doing so, we get 9 over 2, which then we simplified to 4.5. So we now know here that the value of x is 4.5 centimeters. I hope the first two questions were clear, and I hope you can see the steps that we're taking to then isolate x, make it the subject, and get our value. Okay, question number 3. So find the value of x. Well, what's the first rule that we know? Well, the first rule here is that a full circle adds up to 360 degrees. So we know that we have a right angle here, which is 90 degrees, and we have 5x. And that's made up of 2x plus 3x plus 90 degrees, giving us a total of 360 degrees. So let's put this together and have 5x plus 90 equals 360. And then we will minus 90 on both sides to eliminate it, which then gives us 5x equals 270 degrees. And now we've done that, we know that it's 5 multiplied by x, so we will divide both sides by 5. So we now know x equals 54 degrees. So let's revisit this once more. Step 1, I've put all of the variables together and the numbers. I've then gone ahead and simplified it. And then I've made x the subject here. And once I've done that, I've got my answer, 54 degrees. Marvelous. Okay, question number 4. The diagram shows a right-angled triangle. The area of the triangle is 294 centimeters. So let's work out the value of x. Well, as it's a triangle, we know the area is half times base times height. So we now simply know that it's going to be half times our base, which is 4x, times our height, which is 3x. And that equals 294. So can we simplify this? We definitely can. So 4x times 3x gives us 12x squared. We times this by a half and write down 294. We know a half of 12x is 6x squared. And then we need to go ahead and make x the subject. So let's divide both sides by 6. So now we have x squared equals 294 divided by 6. We can half both sides, which gives us 147 divided by 3, which then gives us 49. And as we have x squared equaling 49, we can now take the square root of 49 because it's a square number. So we can say x equals square root of 49, which then gives us 7. So now we know that x equals 7. Again, this will give you the full entire 3 marks, but I'm going to take this one step further and I'm going to substitute 7 into the triangle to see if we really do get 294 centimeters squared. So let's now have this as 3 times 7, which is 21, and 4 times 7, which is 28. Now we've got ahead and done that, we can simply write down 21 times 28 divided by 2, and that does indeed give me 294. And that's how we've gone ahead and checked. Let's now move over to question number 5. So the sizes of the angles in degrees of a triangle are 2x plus 9, x plus 13, and x minus 8. So we now need to go ahead and work out the value of x. So I'll go ahead and put all of these values together, simplify them, and then make x the subject. So let's write that out. So I've put all of the values together. I'm then going to simplify this. So 2x plus x is 4x. And then let's go for 9 plus 13 minus 8. which is then 14. And we now know that the total amount of angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So we can also write that down here. And then we can minus 14 from both sides. So we have 4x equals 166 before simply having 166 divided by 4. So we now know that x equals 41.5. Or you could simply write it out as a fraction. Marvelous. Okay, let's go for question number 6. So the diagram shows us a rectangle. We have all of our measurements in centimeters, and we now need to work out the perimeter. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the main property of a rectangle, that the opposite sides are the same. So we can simply write 2x plus 5 equals 3x minus 2. So what I'm going to do here is take all of the variables on one side and all of the numbers on the other side. So as you can see, we have a 2x. If I take it over to the other side of the equal sign, it will become a minus 2x. So again, you can minus 2x on both sides. So now we have 5 equals 3x minus 2 minus 2x. And then I'm going to take the minus 2 over, so plus 2 on both sides. So now I have 7 equals 3x, take away 2x, which gives me x. So now I know the value of x is 7. I will then go ahead and substitute the value of x into the equation. So if we zoom in here, you will now be able to see 2 and 7 plus 5. So 14 plus 5 is 19. And we'll do the same here. 3 times 7 is 21. Minus 2 is 19. Marvelous. So now we've gone ahead and done that. We know the value of 7 is x, so we can write that out there. So now we have all of the values of the 4 sides. We can simply go ahead and calculate the perimeter by adding everything up. So we can simply have 2 multiplied by 19 plus 2 multiplied by 7. So that's 38 plus 14 gives us 52. So the total perimeter of this rectangle is 52 centimeters. Okay, and let's keep it up. You guys are doing really, really well. Let's move over to question 7. So again, the perimeter of the rectangle is equal to the perimeter of the triangle. So let's find out the value of x. So the first thing I'm going to do here is simply go ahead and make them both equal to one another. So let's have our 2 multiplied by x minus 5, again because of one right-hand side and the left-hand side. And I'll do the same to 2x plus 7, again multiplying it by 2 because I have both sides here and both sides here. And I'll make this equal to the dimensions of the triangle. So we'll have x plus 2x plus 2x plus 11. And now let's go ahead and simplify this and then make x the subject. So let's go ahead and expand and simplify this before making x the subject. So I now know we have 2x minus 10. And then again, we have 4x plus 14. And then we'll equal this to x plus 4x plus 11. And that's because of these two here. So 4x and x will give us 5x plus 11. So for our left-hand side, let's go ahead and simplify this. We have 2x and 4x, which gives us 6x, and minus 10 plus 14, which gives us plus 4. So we have 6x plus 4 equals 5x plus 11. And now we can go ahead and make x the subject. So let's minus 5x on both sides here. So we'll have x equals, and then we'll have minus 4 on both sides. So x equals 7. And there we are. Our value of x is equal to 7. Marvelous. So step 1, expand your brackets. Step 2, simplify your equation before step 3, going ahead and isolating x and making it the subject. Amazing work. Question number 8. So ABCD is a parallelogram and all measurements are now in centimeters. And they've told us that the perpendicular height of the parallelogram is 5 centimeters. So that means our height here is equivalent to 5 centimeters. So let's find the area of ABCD. So again, as we know that the top and the bottom are the same, let's go ahead and make x the subject. So we'll have 3x plus 5 equals 5x minus 9. Again, I'll take the 3x over, so a minus 3x, and I'll take the minus 9 over to make it a plus 9. So we now have 5 and 9 gives us 14, and 5x take away 3x equals 2x. So if I go ahead and divide this by 2, we know that 7 equals x. And then we can go ahead and substitute this. So we can have 3, 7 plus 5. Once again, I'm getting it from here. 21 plus 5 equals 26. And then I can go ahead and multiply this by the height. So we'll have 26 times by 5, which gives you 130 centimeters squared. So again, for those who don't know the area of a parallelogram, we can simply do length times width. So what have I done? I've gone ahead and I've found the value of x before then timesing this by 5, which is my length times width, and I've got my answer as 130 centimeters squared. So for those who don't know the area of a parallelogram, it would simply be your base times your height, which I've done there, 5x minus 9 times by 5, or even 3x plus 5 times by 5. As you can see, I've made it the same in order to find out the value of x. Okay, let's move over to question 9. So the diagram shows a right-angled triangle, and all of the angles are in degrees. Well, the first thing we know is that the total angle is 180 degrees, as it's a triangle. So we can simply put all of our values together, starting with 3x plus 2x plus 10 plus 90 degrees. And this will equal to 180 degrees. We'll then collect this all together. So we have 5x here and 100 here. So 5x plus 100 equals 180 degrees. We can then take 100 over to the other side. So we now have 5x equals 80 degrees. And then we can divide both sides by 5. So we have x equals 16. So now we know the value of x. We need to work out the value of the smallest angle. So by doing so, let's multiply out each number with the variable x. So we now have 3 times 16, which again gives us 48. And we'll have 2 times 16 plus 10. So we know that is 32 plus 10, which is 42. So our smallest angle is 42 degrees, which is this one right here. So I hope this question was clear, and I hope you can see how I'm going ahead and answering each question, breaking down one problem into smaller, more manageable steps. Okay, we're almost done here now. Let's move over to question 10. So Adam has some marbles, and Bradley has twice as many marbles as Adam. So we can instantly say x for Adam and 2x for Bradley. And Charlie has 5 more marbles than Bradley. So we can say 2x plus 5 for Chris. So now we've written that out, we need to find out how many marbles Chris has, when in total they have 55 marbles. So let's go ahead and write this out. We have x plus 2x plus 2x plus 5 equals 55 marbles. And let's simplify this now. So we have 5x in total plus 5 equals 55 marbles. And let's now make x the subject. So I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. So we have 5x equals 50. And then divide 5 from both sides. So now I have x equals 10. And so by doing this, we want to work out how many Chris has. So we know Chris was 2x plus 5. So let's go ahead and substitute x into this equation and put 10 there, plus 5, which gives us 20 plus 5, and 25 is our answer. So Chris now has 25 marbles. And you could even take this a step further and calculate how much Bradley and Adam has to see if it equals 55. So that's a quick challenge you could take up. Okay, let's move over to the last set of questions here, question 11. So the size of the largest angle in a triangle is 3 times the size of the smallest angle. So we could instantly label the smallest angle as x and the largest angle as 3 times, which is then 3x. And the other angle is 35 degrees more than the smallest angle. So in that case, we can simply write down x plus 35. So work out in degrees the size of each angle in the triangle. So let's go ahead and put this all together, right? We'll have 3x plus x plus x plus 35. And again, because it's a triangle, we'll equal this to 180 degrees. We'll then go ahead and simplify this. So we know we have 5x plus 35 equals 180. Before subtracting 35 on each side, so then we have 5x equals 145. Before dividing both sides by 5, so we have an x equals 145 divided by 5, and x equals 29. So now we know the value of x, we now need to work out the size of each angle. So the smallest angle is x, so we can write that down here. We then know that the second angle is x plus 35, so we can have 29 plus 35, which gives us 64. And then we know the largest angle is 3 times more than the smallest angle. So we can have 29 multiplied by 3, which then gives us 87, and we can write that out here. So do remember that when you have your answer and you know it's a triangle, try to add up all of your answers to check if it adds up to 180 degrees. If it does, then you're correct. But if it doesn't, then you need to double check your work to see if anything has gone wrong. But without that, you've got yourself 5 marks, and that's amazing. Okay, let's finish off with the last question. So Lucy is 3 times as old as Alex. So again, as you can see, Lucy is 3 times as old as Alex. We can simply write 3x, and Alex can be given an x. And Lucy is 7 years older than Megan. And so the sum of their ages is 126. So now find the ratio of Alex's age to Lucy's age and to Megan's age. So for those who haven't watched our ratio video, please go ahead and watch that. But let's go ahead and attempt this here. So we'll have Alex, which equals to x. We'll have Lucy, which equals to 3x. And then we will have Megan, which will equal to 3x minus 7. And the reason I've got that is because we know that Lucy is 7 years older than Megan. So Megan has to be 7 years younger, hence the minus 7. So remember, I will repeat that again. Megan is 7 years younger than Lucy. Hence, I've gone ahead and written down 3x minus 7. Okay, and now all we need to do is put this together and equal it to 126. So we'll have x plus 3x plus 3x minus 7 equals 126. We'll then simplify this. So we know we have 7x minus 7 equals 126. And then add 7 on both sides. So we have 7x equals 133 before dividing 133 by 7, which then gives us 19. So we now know that Alex is 19 years old. We are then going to substitute this value to work out the other ages. So for now, we can write 19 in a ratio format for Alex. So now for Lucy, we know that Lucy is 3 times Alex's age. So we know that that would give us 57. So that's Lucy done. And we know that Megan is 7 years younger than Lucy. So we can have 57 take away 7, which gives us 50. And that is now Megan's age. So we have 19 to 57 to 50. And that there brings us to the end of our video. I hope you now have a stronger understanding of forming and solving equations. I hope this video has helped you understand how we can collectively put together a set of variables and numbers before making that variable the subject and isolating it as we've done here with our x, and then substituting it to find the value of either somebody's age or the amount that we spent. No matter what type of question it is, the principle remains the same. And you've done amazingly well coming this far. So keep up the great work, and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like our videos. Keep up the great work.